Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to be doing our first in an elemental series talking about dark element units. We're going to be looking at what units are must-haves, whether you're a new player or whether you are an experienced player. We're going to talk about the relevance that dark has had in the game as one of the most powerful elements to exist, and we're going to talk about what's going on in the future, what to be aware of. Let's go ahead and dig in. So universally, dark has been one of the most powerful elements in War of the Visions for a very long time, and there's a couple of reasons for this. Probably the most predominant reason is the access to Ziza. Everybody, no matter what guide you look at, is going to tell you to get Ziza, to get her to level 99, and to get her TMR Ziza's Bells. The reason, of course, being that it is the strongest TMR in the game, and that means that by leveling her, you're going to have a dark unit level 99 as a new player ready to go. And this is going to be a really good thing for new players because nowadays you get access to a free Stern if you spend upwards of like 99 cents on the game. You also get a free Shadow Link. So starting out the game, your dark element for PvE content is already going to be powerful and ready to go. The combination of Ziza, Stern, and Shadow Links is going to be the beginning of a formation that will carry you through almost all PvE content in the game. Now, what do Stern, Shadow Links, and Ziza do in a dark formation? Well, the biggest thing that you're going to notice in all of these dark element must-haves is they all have access to dark and slash chaining, which means, of course, that the damage that they get off of each other if they are doing a dark and slash attack is going to be multiplied not only by the elemental modifier chain bonus, but also by the slash attack chain modifier bonus. So if they all use their dark and slash abilities, their capability to deal more damage in a PvE setting is going to be very powerful, much more quickly than if you were maybe using a diverse set of units or a different set of elemental units. Now, on top of that, we also seem to have in Dark the unique capability for a very long time to lower specific status resistances. So for example, Ziza, as her 120 ability, has the capability to do single hit resistance minus 30. Stern, as his 120 ability, has the capability to lower slash resistance 38%. Shadow Links can also lower single hit resistance, and Shadow Links has access to a 3-hit attack. Ziza has access to a 2-hit attack, although that is striking. But Stern is always going to hit cap damage because he does have access to his sub soldier. And this is just the baseline for your dark setup. Now, factoring in other units, if I were to recommend to a new player 2 units to get right away, I think I would probably recommend Black Rose Helena and Venera, because that's going to really solidify your dark slash composition. And of course, if you can't get Venera, if you can't get Black Rose Helena, of course, Ruin Stern is going to fit in really well as well. The reason I'm going to recommend Venera and Black Rose Helena is because both of their TMRs are very relevant. Black Rose Helena's TMR, of course, being one of the best TMRs in the game for mage characters, particularly since the re-raised TMR from Zombie Raryu is a limited time TMR. And then, of course, Venera's TMR is an agility up TMR and is one of those TMRs where when you're a new player and you are looking to build your TMRs in different positions, this is just going to be a really good way to go in that TMR slot to get some more agility for yourself. Now, Black Rose Helena in particular does have access to Sub Calculator. She is a 100 cost unit, so she is going to be a little bit more difficult to get. But what she does bring to the table is Dark Resistance minus 38, Spirit minus 30, and she has incredible solo power, very similar to Venera and Shadow Links, who have really high evasion. They're going to be able to solo a lot of content for you. Black Rose Helena is going to be able to kill a lot of things very powerfully and very fast. So Black Rose Helena is going to be a great kind of addition to your team. The one drawback is that her Dark Slash isn't as powerful as some of the other units, but being able to lower Dark Resistance is a pretty big deal because she's one of the only units that has Dark Resistance minus 38 without actually pulling Dwayne, that's a limited time unit. So as a new player, Black Rose Helena is going to be really good for you for that reason. Venera, of course, really powerful because she has access to her very high evasion, which is going to give her very high solo power along with Shadow Links. She also gets defense -30. She has a 3-hit limit break. She has the capability to lower single hit resistance -30 on the opponent. She also has the ability with her defense -30 to gain HP back, so she is going to be extremely powerful in solo content or in content where maybe damage is going to be dealt to your units. And between these 5 units, you could solo almost every single piece of content in War of the Visions, you know, give or take a bonus unit or 2 that you might put into this composition. Ruinstern is going to be a great addition here if you want him as well. He has a 100 cost unit, but he does have access to Sub Ruin Knight, which is going to be the same as Sub Soldier, where it is going to give you a very hefty attack bonus. He's going to hit cap damage all the time. He has a 2-hit attack, which will almost always hit cap damage on both hits, which is going to make him basically capable to shred any level 100 raid boss or any type of Trials of Reckoning boss. He's also going to have capability to lower defense by 30, which is going to be very powerful and very relevant in these situations. Now, if you have been playing for a while and you really want your Dark Slash team to be complete, you could of course pull for Dwayne. Dwayne is he's been a relevant unit in the game for quite a long time. He is limited, but his banner comes back maybe 3 or 4 times in a year. He does have the capability to lower dark resistance 38 and slash resistance 25. This is of course relevant because, you know, as great as Black Rose Helena is for slash chaining, being able to have another slash unit that lowers dark resistance and slash kind of replaces her and lets you kind of get more damage from chaining slash, because this dark resistance from Black Rose Helena is a magic attack. So having access to Dwayne will kind of complete your Dark Slash composition. He also has the capability to dispel re-raise, which may or may not be relevant depending on what his second mastery ability upgrades are going to be in the near future. But we do know that Dark becomes more relevant in PvP content over the course of the next 3 to 6 months from whenever this video is aired. So it's absolutely possible that Dwayne we might be seeing make a comeback. Now, there are some other dark units that are just okay, and I would classify all of these units as good in their own right. The problem is a lot of them are limited. A lot of them kind of have their own niche, so let's just cover talking about them real quick so we can get them out of the way. Gavgarion is a limited unit. He's also free. He comes out with the Final Fantasy Tactics collaboration. We're expecting his EX to come out here potentially in the next 3 to 6 months whenever the next Tactics collaboration comes out. He's really good for his TMR, which has End Confusion on it, and he's going to be a very tanky unit. He has access to Sub Feld Knight, which will give him very high attack, and even in some Dark Slash chain compositions right now, you will see him utilized just because he can hit that cap damage really quickly. We do have Lemure here, who her TMR is one of the unique staffs that gives unit attack resistance +10. This TMR would be really good if you're wanting to make a TMR weapon, but honestly, she's really going to be niche. She has access to Time Mage sub, she has access to sub White Mage, but she doesn't have access to Full Life. I would say most of the time you're probably going to want to stay away from her unless you're doing like manual class match shenanigans, or unless you're really wanting to enter into potentially some unique situations with Time Mages. Golbez recently came out. We don't know when he'll release again. He is limited, but he pairs really good with Black Rose Helena and potentially Garvel EX when he comes out. He does give Spirit -25 and 30. He also has the capability to dispel re-raise, and he's very tanky. You do see some Golbezes right now in PvP, but I'm wondering if he might not make a comeback. He doesn't have a 100% hit attack, which really, you know, makes him struggle in the current evasion meta. But he's one of those units that, you know, I could see easily making a comeback. All it's going to take is like a really good piece of accuracy gear or potentially an accuracy build, and he could easily come back. Whisper, also known as Sasayaki, oh my gosh, is a very niche unit in the fact that she's one of the only units in the game that can reliably hit 100% resistance on a specific type of attack. So she can hit 100% slash, missile, pierce. You can kind of choose what you want her to hit. She does come with defense and spirit -20 on opponents. She has tri-break. She's tanky. She's very niche, but in some PvE situations, you are able to utilize her to kind of take advantage of those resistances. I've never done it in particular, but I know a lot of players really enjoy messing around with it. And it's one of those things where, you know, when you need that resistance and when you want to have fun hitting those 100% resistances, Whisper is going to be your girl. Her TMR also gives 5% resistance to all status resistances. Some people really like that. I don't think it's the best TMR in the world, but it is a possibility that you will want to chase that. Kayn is a limited unit, and I would say Kayn has never really been a meta unit because he occupies the space of dark piercing, which while you do have Stern, you do have Dwayne who have access to piercing, you do have Shadowlynx that has access to piercing, dark slash is just always going to be better. When you consider Kayn only lowers pierce resistance by 20%, he can dispel guts, it quickly becomes apparent that, you know, being able to lower slash resistance 38 with multiple units on the previous page, you know, pierce is just not going to quite do it. Now you do have access to Sub-Valkyrie with Kayn, so you can do slash chaining with him and you can hit damage cap pretty reliably, but that's going to be pretty rare that you have Kayn at that level, particularly if you're a new player. I don't know when his banner is going to come around again, so just keep that in mind. Prompto is a very interesting unit, I would say. He's very unique compared to a lot of the other units. And he is limited, he is free, he's a dark element gunner with access to a lot of status ailments. He's pretty powerful, but I would say particularly with double VCs, it makes him a little difficult to use in PvE situations. And a lot of the times in the situations where you would use him, you can just use a dark slash unit instead. Lamaiga, very niche hand-to-hand dark unit. Really good for his TMR, has very high accuracy. He is the Dark Select Quest unit, so he is technically free. However, no access to really good slash chaining abilities. I would say hard skip. It would definitely be a waste of your resources to invest in him. If there was one unit that I would consider potentially changing and putting into the must-haves, it would definitely be Garble. A couple reasons. His TMR is incredibly powerful. He does have a new EX coming here in the future. He also has a 100% hit attack. All of these things make him very powerful and very relevant for dark units. And I definitely think you could get away with him being one of the units that's going to be kind of meta, quote unquote, when his 120 comes back. He'll definitely be making a return. He tends to pair really well with Golbez, Black Rose Helena, and my dog's coughing stuff up. But he does tend to be just one of those units that is relevant. In terms of dark units that are upcoming, we do have quite a significant meta changing shift coming. So it is going to be important to know, you know, if you're wanting to go dark element right now, what the changes are that are going to be happening. First off, we have Joker coming out, which is going to be with the Persona 5 collaboration. He is going to be limited. And these units are going to be specifically Joker and Leela are going to be significantly PvP focused. So as Dark is going to be making a comeback on the PvP scene, these are going to be units where if you want to be relevant for guild battle, if you want to be relevant in, you know, potentially arena content, these are the units to go for. So Joker is going to have access to barrier break. He's going to be able to lower defense by 30 and lower counter resistance by 100. Very importantly, he's going to have a 100% hit attack as well. He does have access to multiple weapon types, which is important. He has access to missile, he has access to slash, and he has access to just plain dark element damage, which is very rare. So he's going to be able to, 1, hit evasion light units, 2, break barriers, and he's going to shut down counters and lower defense, is going to make him a very relevant dark unit. Now pair this with the new Leela 100 cost that's coming out. She is going to be a dark tank. She's going to have access to defense minus 30, dispel, guts, protect dispel, slash resistance minus 38, and she's going to have an attack that gives her plus 30% hit chance. With striking and dark slashing as her available abilities, she's going to be one of those units that are going to come in and attempt to hard counter the light meta. It'll be interesting to see if this is going to work on GL, since evasion meta is much more prominent than it is on the JP side, and we have Elena. It'll be one of those things that we want to watch and just be aware of. Finally, we do have the new Dark MR unit, and I believe her name is Renelle. I can never I can never remember what her name is because she is an MR unit, and she's one of those units that just kind of goes along the wayside. So let me look it up real quick on WoTV. Renelle is her name. So she's going to be a new MR unit that comes out, and they kind of reinvest in MR units on the JP side. What's unique about her is she has access to striking, slashing, and missile, which is very powerful. She also has Dispel Guts. She has a 3-hit attack, and her chance to be targeted is down. She's going to be really good for Dark Select Quest, but the question is, do you really need her for Dark Select Quest coming up? Because if you have a maxed out Evasion Shadow Links, you can pretty much solo most of the Dark Select Quest going on anyway, and the Dark Select Quest is going to give gear for Lamiga, who is not the most relevant unit. So I would say for now, sleep on Renelle, focus potentially on Joker and 100 cost Little Leela if you are going to be going and trying to become part of this future dark meta, is probably going to be the most likely way for you to go. Anyway, everybody, this is the conclusion of my first video that I've done on specifically Dark Element and of the Elemental series. I'm really curious if you guys like this style of content. Please let me know down in the comments down below if you want me to do other elements as well. I would definitely love to do that. I definitely am considering doing Esper and VC videos as well. So let me know if you want that as well. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.